The alien market was never quiet, but on this night it felt different. An uneasy silence filled the cold air. Creatures from many worlds stood close together, their strange faces lit by weak blue lights that flickered like dying stars. Everyone's eyes were fixed on one small figure standing at the center. A blind alien girl, thin, shaking, and afraid. Her skin, soft and pale, carried faint glowing lines that marked her as rare. But tonight those lines only showed her fear. She stood with her head down, her long fingers twisting together. She could not see the crowd, but she could feel their eyes like sharp knives. Every whisper echoed in her ears. She is broken. She cannot see. Who will buy something useless? The girl tried to breathe slowly, but her chest felt tight. Her whole life had been dark. But tonight that darkness felt heavier. She waited for her husband to speak, and soon she heard his rough voice push her forward. "Move," he said without care. "Stand straight so they can see you." She obeyed. Even though she trembled, her husband was selling her, and she had no power to stop it. She did not cry. She had already cried many times in her life. Tonight she only waited for what would happen next, hoping maybe someone kind would take her, but knowing very well that kindness almost did not exist in this place. Around her, the crowd continued whispering. Some laughed, some pointed. They called her blind, weak, worthless. And every word cut her heart deeper. Still, she remained silent, afraid that speaking might cause punishment. Then something strange happened. The crowd suddenly grew quiet. Not soft quiet, complete stillness. Even her husband stopped talking. His breath caught for a moment, like he saw something unexpected. The girl tilted her head slightly, listening. She sensed footsteps entering the market, slow, steady, controlled. Whoever it was did not walk like the others. There was no anger in the steps, no hunger, no cruelty. Instead, there was a calm rhythm, almost gentle. She felt confused. Why would someone walk gently in a place like this? As the steps came closer, the girl felt something new, something warm in the cold air. It confused her even more. Her husband spoke again, but this time his voice carried surprise. "A human," he muttered, loud enough for her to hear. "What is a human doing here?" At the word human, the crowd whispered again, but this time with fear. Humans were known for strength and power, not gentleness. They were rare in this part of the galaxy, and when they did appear, no one expected them to show mercy. The girl felt her heartbeat rise. She had never met a human before. She wondered if he was cruel like the stories said. Or worse, would he hurt her more than her husband did? Would he treat her like property, or would he simply walk past her and buy someone else? But the footsteps stopped right in front of her. She sensed him kneel down. She could feel his presence close to her face. Warm and steady, her breath caught. She prepared for pain, maybe a slap, maybe rough hands grabbing her. Instead, she felt something she did not expect, a gentle touch on her arm. Soft, warm, slow, her whole body froze. Kindness was so rare to her that she almost pulled away in fear, but she did not move. The gentle touch did not force her, did not hurt her. It felt like the touch of someone who wanted to protect, not harm. The human spoke. His voice was deep but calm. "Are you hurt?" he asked softly. She was shocked. No one in the market ever asked her questions. No one cared if she hurt. She could not answer. Her voice felt locked inside her throat. Her husband laughed from behind. "She is blind," he said. "She is useless. If you want her, take her, but do not complain later." The human did not reply to him. He only spoke again to the girl. "You are not useless," he said gently, as if he knew what she was thinking. "You deserve better." The girl did not understand. These words felt impossible. How could a stranger say she deserved better? Why would he care? What did he want from her? But her confusion grew stronger when he placed a small cloth in her hands. Something soft, something warm. Maybe food, maybe a gift. She could not see it. But she could feel kindness inside it. A kindness strong enough to break her heart. The crowd watched silently. The human stood up and said, "I will take her." His voice carried no doubt, no fear. Her husband shrugged, sold her, and stepped away like she was nothing. But to the girl, everything changed in that moment. For the first time in her life, someone touched her without hurting her. Someone spoke to her without anger. Someone saw her as more than a burden. As the human guided her away from the cold market, she felt something else, something she had never felt before. Hope, weak and small, but real. But the night was not done with them. In the shadows, hidden eyes watched them leave. Whispers spreading through the dark air. The human took her, they said. He does not know what danger follows. And the story of the blind alien and the gentle human had only just begun. The blind alien girl walked slowly beside the human, her steps shaky on the cold ground. She could not see where he was taking her, but she felt the light pressure of his hand guiding her. It was gentle, careful, almost afraid of hurting her. No one had ever touched her like that before, and the feeling confused her deeply. The market noise faded behind them, but the fear inside her chest did not fade. She did not know this human, and she did not understand why he had bought her. In her life, being bought only meant pain, work or punishment. Why would this be any different? She kept her head down, waiting for the moment when his kindness would suddenly turn cold, waiting for the moment he would shout or push her. That was how life always worked for her. Kindness never stayed, but the human walked in silence. His steps steady, his breathing slow. There was no anger in him, not even a little. She listened carefully to every sound, trying to understand who he really was. His footsteps were heavy but calm, his heartbeat steady. His energy did not feel dangerous. After some time, he stopped walking. The girl froze, her hands tight at her chest. She waited for his command, maybe an order, maybe a demand, but instead, he spoke softly, like someone trying not to scare a child. "You can rest here," he said. "It is safe." Safe, that word felt strange to her. She had not felt safe in many years. She did not move, unsure if she should sit or stand. She waited for him to push her or force her to do something. But again, he did nothing except speak gently. "You can sit," he said. "I will not hurt you." Slowly, carefully. She lowered herself to the ground. She placed her hands on the cold floor, trying to understand the space around her. It felt like a small shelter, maybe a quiet corner away from the market. The air was warmer here, and she could hear the soft hum of a heater. The human placed something in her hands again. Food, warm and soft. She hesitated, expecting a trick, but she was hungry. Her stomach empty for a long time, she took a small bite, and her eyes filled with tears she did not let fall. No one had fed her gently in years. He sat down a short distance away, giving her space. He did not grab her, did not shout, did not rush her. He simply watched to make sure she was all right. She could feel his eyes on her, not sharp, not cruel, just watching with calm concern. After a long moment, she finally spoke, her voice small and rough from silence. "Why?" she whispered. "Why did you take me?" The human did not answer quickly. He thought for a moment. Then he said, "Because someone should have." She frowned, confused. "Someone should help you," he added. "Someone should care." She shook her head slightly. "No one cares," she said quietly. "Not for someone like me." He leaned forward a little, but not close enough to scare her. "You are not less because you cannot see," he said. "You are not broken." Her hands trembled. She had heard the opposite all her life. "My husband said I am useless," she whispered. "Everyone said it? Everyone was wrong," the human replied. His calm certainty made her chest feel tight. She did not know if she should believe him. Believing words like that was dangerous. They could hurt more later. Still, she felt something warm inside her. Something she tried to push away. Hope. The human spoke again after a pause. "What is your name?" She hesitated. Names were taken from her often. Changed. Ignored. She finally said, "I do not have one anymore." The human did not show anger or shock. He only nodded slowly. "Then we will find a name that belongs to you," he said. "A name you choose?" Her breath shook. No one had ever offered her a choice before. Before she could answer, the human's voice changed slightly, low and alert. She felt him shift his body and stand up. His breathing grew tighter. She could sense danger in the air, something she had felt many times before. She touched the ground with her fingertips, feeling vibration patterns. She could sense movement outside the shelter, many footsteps, quiet but fast. Something was wrong. The human spoke behind her. His tone calm but firm. "Stay here." Fear rose inside her. "They followed us," she whispered. He did not ask how she knew. He only stepped in front of her and said, "I will handle it." Outside, shadows moved, whispering in a language she did not understand. They had been waiting. They had seen the human by her, and they wanted her for something else, something dark. She curled her fingers into the floor, shaking. She did not know why these strangers wanted her. She did not know why the human was protecting her. But one thing was clear now. His kindness was real, and because of that kindness, danger had found him. The human stepped forward, ready to face whatever came next. And she, blind and afraid, could only sit and pray that he would not be hurt because of her. The night around them grew colder, the shadows outside grew closer, and the bond between the human and the blind alien, fragile and new, was about to be tested for the first time. The blind alien girl sat silently in the small shelter, her hands trembling on her lap. She could hear the human outside speaking to someone. His voice low but steady. She could not understand every word, but she knew he was trying to keep her safe. For the first time in a very long time, someone was standing between her and danger, and it made her heart feel strange and heavy. The shadows outside moved back and forth. The footsteps grew quieter, then louder again. The human came back inside after a long moment. His breathing was slower now, but still tense. He sat down across from her, leaving space so she would not feel trapped. "They are gone for now," he said gently. "But they will return." She swallowed nervously. "Why? Why would they follow us?" He looked at her with calm eyes she could not see. "I do not know yet," he said, "but it has something to do with you." Her hands tightened. "I do not have anything," she whispered. "I am blind. I am weak. I am nothing special." The human shook his head. "I do not believe that," he said. "They would not follow me across half the market for someone who they think is worthless." His words scared her. She did not want to be valuable. Being valuable only brought more pain. She lifted her face a little, her cloudy eyes unfocused. "If they want me, you should not protect me," she whispered. "You will only get hurt." He spoke softly but firmly. "I will not leave you." Her breath caught in her throat. No one had ever said those words to her. People always left, always gave up on her, always decided she was too much trouble, too quiet, too blind, too broken to keep. She lowered her head again, not trusting her own emotions. "I do not understand you," she said. "You are human. Humans are strong. Humans are feared. Why would someone like you help someone like me?" He did not answer immediately. His silence was not cruel. It was thoughtful. Because strength is not only for fighting, he said slowly. Sometimes strength is shown by how we treat the weakest. She felt something warm spread through her chest, soft but powerful. I am the weakest, she whispered. He smiled softly. Yet you survived all this time, he said. That does not sound weak to me. She did not know what to say. Her whole life she had been told she was useless, hopeless, a burden, but this human saw something else. Something she could not see in herself. She listened to the quiet room, feeling the heater's soft hum. She felt safer than she had felt in many years. The human gave her a small blanket, gently draping it over her shoulders. She held it tightly, shocked by how warm it felt. Not just warm from temperature, but warm from care. Can you tell me about your past? He asked gently. Only if you want to, she hesitated. Her past was painful to speak about, but his voice was soft, patient. And she felt the smallest spark of trust growing inside her. I was not born blind, she whispered. It happened when I was young. My world turned dark. And people changed how they looked at me. He nodded, letting her speak at her own pace. My husband kept me for a while, she continued. But he stopped caring. He said I was too slow, too weak. He said I made him look bad. Her voice broke slightly. But she kept speaking. He stopped touching me with kindness. He stopped speaking gently. Everything I did became wrong to him. The human frowned. Anger in his eyes, but not in his voice. He should never have treated you that way, he said. She wrapped her arms around herself. When he decided to sell me, I was not surprised, she whispered. He said someone might want me for cheap work. Maybe for experiments. I did not fight back. I did not know how. The human's heart ached as he listened. Her calm voice hid deep pain, pain she had learned to accept. But she'd never have had to. You are safe with me, he said slowly. I will not let anyone hurt you again. Those words felt impossible to her. She shook her head. You cannot protect me forever. Maybe not forever, he said. But I will try for as long as I can. Before she could answer, she felt vibrations under her hand again. Soft but familiar. She tilted her head, focusing. They are close, she whispered. Not inside, but watching. He looked toward the entrance, his body tense. How do you know? She hesitated. I can feel movement through the ground, she said. I always could, even when I was little. He raised an eyebrow. Interested. That is a rare gift, he said. You can sense what others cannot. She shook her head. It is nothing, she whispered. Just something I learned after losing my sight. But he did not believe that it was nothing. Her sensitivity was too strong, too precise. The shadows wanted her for a reason, and now he understood that she might hold a secret she herself did not know. She curled closer to the blanket, trying to hide her shaking hands. What will happen now? She asked softly. The human sat beside her, not too close. Just enough so she could feel he was there. Now, he said gently, we learn to trust each other, and we prepare for whatever comes next. She breathed in slowly, letting his calm presence steady her heart. She still did not fully understand him, but she no longer felt alone in the dark. For the first time since losing her sight, she felt someone's warmth, someone's strength, someone's kindness reaching toward her, and in that quiet moment, the first seeds of trust began to grow between them. Even as danger continued to circle in the shadows outside, night settled slowly around the small shelter. The weak lights outside flickered like they were afraid of the darkness. The blind alien girl sat close to the wall, her hands resting lightly on the floor, feeling every vibration, every movement, every tiny sound that others would never notice. The human sat near the entrance, alert and quiet, his eyes scanning the shadows that surrounded them. He knew the danger was not gone. The girl had sensed footsteps earlier, and he trusted her instincts more than his own. She had a gift he did not fully understand yet. A gift that might be the reason others wanted her, and he knew he had to be ready. The shelter creaked softly as cold wind moved outside. The girl flinched at the sound, even though the human had told her she was safe. Safety felt strange, unstable, like something that could break at any moment. She held the blanket tighter around her shoulders, trying to keep the warmth inside her fading hope. Suddenly, her fingers twitched against the floor. She turned her head sharply, her cloudy eyes wide though she could not see. "They are here," she whispered. "3. No, 4 footsteps. The human stood immediately, his jaw tight. "Where?" She pointed slightly to the right, her voice trembling. "Outside the wall." Moving slow. "They are searching." The human moved toward the entrance. Careful not to make noise, he could not see anyone yet, but he trusted her sense. She felt things he could never feel. A soft tapping sound echoed outside, then whispers followed. Harsh voices speaking a language that felt dark and threatening. The girl pressed her hands to her chest, fear rising in her throat. "They want me," she whispered. "They will break the door." The human stepped back toward her, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. "I will not let them take you." His calm voice steadied her heart for a moment. But the danger outside grew louder. The shadows shifted, and something hit the outer wall. A strong blow, then another. The girl covered her ears as fear burst through her. She shook her head, whispering, "Please do not fight because of me. They will hurt you." The human knelt in front of her, holding her trembling hands. "Listen to me," he said softly. "You did nothing wrong. You are not a burden. You do not deserve this fear, and no one is going to take you while I am here." Before she could answer, the wall cracked, a sharp, long sound broke through the shelter. Dust fell from above, and the human moved in front of her like a shield. The door burst open with a heavy crash. The attackers stepped inside, their shapes tall and threatening in the dim blue light. "Give us the girl," one of them growled. "She belongs to us." The human stood firm. "She belongs to no one," he said quietly. The attackers laughed, low and cruel. "You do not know what she is," one hissed. "You do not know what she carries inside her." The girl trembled behind the human. "I have nothing," she whispered. "I do not understand." The leader pointed at her with a sharp claw. "She is the last of her kind," he growled. "Blind ones do not see with eyes. They carry power inside their minds. Power that can be used." The human narrowed his eyes. "Power," he repeated. "She said she was blind." "Not powerful," the attacker grinned. "Exactly. She does not know what she is." "But we do." Before the human could respond, 2 attackers rushed forward. The human pushed the girl back and blocked the attack with his forearm. The impact shaking the ground, he fought calmly, moving with speed and precision, his body between the girl and the danger at all times. The girl curled on the floor, unable to see what was happening. But she felt every movement, every vibration. She felt the human steps, heavy and controlled. She felt the attacker's movements, fast and violent. She sensed the air shifting as they fought. One attacker grabbed the human's shoulder. Forcing him back, the girl cried out softly, "Please stop. He is fighting because of me." Her fear grew stronger, and suddenly something inside her chest pulsed. A warm energy, slow at first, then spreading through her arms. Her fingers sparked with faint light she could not see. The attackers noticed it immediately. "There," one shouted. "The power is waking." The human turned his head slightly. Hearing the panic in their voices, he did not know what was happening. But he could feel the energy behind him, soft but growing. The girl pressed her palms to the floor as the energy rose inside her. She did not understand it, she did not control it, but it flowed out of her like a heartbeat, She could not stop. A pulse of soft vibration spread across the floor, pushing outward like a wave. The attackers stumbled back, eyes wide with fear. She awakened, one shouted. Retreat, retreat, they fled quickly, running into the night, leaving the shelter shaking behind them. Silence followed, long and heavy. The girl gasped, her hands still glowing faintly. I did not mean to, she whispered. I did not know I could do that. The human sat beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shaking arm. It is all right, he said softly. You protected both of us. She shook her head, tears forming. I am dangerous. He lifted her chin gently so she could hear the truth in his voice. You are not dangerous, he said. You are powerful, and power is not evil. What matters is how you use it. She breathed slowly, calming herself with his steady presence. Outside, the danger had left, but inside her heart, a new fear and a new hope had awakened together. The human stayed close, watching the entrance, ready for whatever would come next. And the blind alien girl, still trembling, realized something she had never known before. For the first time in her life, someone was not afraid of her. Someone believed in her strength. Someone chose to stay, and that changed everything. The shelter was quiet again, but the silence felt different now. The blind alien girl sat on the floor with her hands resting gently on her knees. Feeling the last soft waves of energy fade from her body, the human stayed beside her, close enough for comfort, but not too close to scare her. His presence felt like a warm light she could not see, but she could sense it clearly in her heart. She breathed slowly, trying to understand what had just happened. All her life she had believed she was weak, helpless, and broken, yet a power had awakened inside her. Something she never knew existed. It frightened her, but it also made her feel something she had never felt before. Possibility. The human watched her with calm eyes. How do you feel? He asked gently. She hesitated, searching for the right words. Different, she whispered, like a part of me woke up. A part I did not know I had. He nodded slowly. That power saved us tonight, he said. You saved us. Her hands tightened on her blanket. But I did not control it, she whispered. It just happened. What if I hurt someone next time? He leaned forward a little, his voice steady. You will not hurt someone, he said. You are kind. And kind people do not use power to harm. You protected us because you were afraid, not angry. She lowered her head, her cloudy eyes facing the floor. I do not want to be dangerous. You are not, he replied. Power is only dangerous in the hands of those who do not care. You care more than anyone I have met. His words settled gently in her heart, warm and comforting. She did not fully believe she was strong, but she believed he believed it, and that alone made her feel braver. A soft breeze entered the shelter, bringing fresh air and a little light from outside. The night felt calmer now. The attackers were gone. But she knew this peace might not last forever. Still, with the human beside her, fear no longer controlled her completely. After a long moment of silence, she spoke again. You should leave me, she whispered. It is safer for you. The human looked at her with surprise. Leave you, he repeated. Why would I leave you? Because people want me, she said softly. They want what I carry inside. I do not want you to suffer because of me. He shook his head firmly. I do not walk away from people who need help, he said. And I will not walk away from you. Her heart trembled. She lifted her hand slowly, reaching out until her fingers brushed his arm. She felt warmth, steady and alive. She felt his heartbeat under his skin. Strong but gentle, her voice broke as she whispered. No one ever stayed before. I am not no one, he said softly. I am here, and I am choosing to stay. Something inside her cracked open. Not with pain, but with relief. For the first time in her life, Someone saw her not as a burden, but as someone worth standing with, someone worth protecting. She raised her other hand toward his face. Slowly, carefully, he did not move away. She touched his cheek with her fingertips. Her species could sense emotional energy through touch. And when her fingers rested gently on his skin, she felt something she never felt before. Warmth, kindness, strength, protection, sincerity. And something that felt like a quiet promise. Her breath shook. "I can feel you," she whispered. "Your heart, your feelings, your truth." He spoke softly. "What do you feel?" She smiled weakly, a soft trembling smile. "Kindness," she said, "for the first time." "I see someone." The human gently placed his hand over hers, letting her feel his warmth more clearly. "Then you are not blind," he said. "Not truly." She let out a small, shaky laugh, the first one in many years. "Not with you," she whispered. The girl lowered her hands, but kept them close to him. Afraid to lose the warmth. "What will happen to us now?" she asked. The human looked toward the night sky outside the shelter. "We will leave this place," he said. "There is a safer world not far from here. We can go there." "Start again." "We," she repeated softly, the word feeling new and fragile. "You mean we together?" "Yes," he said simply. Together, her heart filled with something soft and powerful. Something she had never allowed herself to feel. Hope, not the weak kind that breaks easily, but a stronger hope born from kindness and trust. "But what if they come again?" she whispered. "They said I am the last of my kind." He looked at her with quiet determination. "Then we will face them together," he said. "You are not alone anymore." She felt tears slip down her cheeks. Warm and silent, she had lived so long in darkness, in fear, in pain, but beside this human, she felt something she thought she would never feel again. A future? He stood up and offered his hand. "Come," he said gently, "let us start walking. The night will not last forever." She reached out, placing her hand into his. Her fingers curled around his with trust she never thought she could give. She stood slowly, leaning on his steady presence, together. They stepped out of the broken shelter and into the quiet night. The sky above them glowed with distant stars, and though she could not see them, she felt their light through him, through his warmth, through the hope now growing inside her heart. And the blind alien girl, once broken and afraid, took her first step into a world where kindness could shape destiny. Not power, not fear, not pain. A world where a human had shown her what true strength really looked like. And where she finally understood that the heart can see far more than the eyes ever could.